Bam, I ask you this every year, what you're going to improve on, and you added the three this year, but specifically now, the playoffs always offer lessons to learn from. And from that series, what did you take from as far as your own development going forward?
Uh, from that series, uh, really understanding how hard it is to win a playoff game. I think for that team that just was just out there, I feel like is a really valuable lesson. Other than the scoreboard, but like to understand that how hard it is to win. I feel like a lot of us take it for granted when we're out there. Kind of beating the teams you're supposed to beat, and then you get in the playoffs, and it's like it's an even field, and you got to really work through it. So I think just valuing winning.
Bam, I would have thought in your first 7 seasons you would have seen it all, but what transpired with the Jimmy situation, the 3 suspensions, not knowing if he's going to be there, not knowing if he's going to try, not knowing if he's going to make the team playing, not knowing if he's going to leave shoot around when not starting, that was a lot. What was it like as a captain and in the locker room to try to get through that and still remain in contention?
Uh, that was a lot right there. You don't realize it when you're going through it. Um, I would say trying to get everybody on the same page through the storm. Because like I've said in many times sitting up here, you got to understand that somebody still has to play the game. We still got to go out there and figure out how to win. If guys are in or out, and obviously keeping that same motivation of trying to win. Like I said before, this organization and this team could have let go of the rope a long time ago. Going through what we went through this season, a lot of people could have just chalked it up and just been like, you know what, we're just gonna start over. And that's one thing I love about this organization, that we're always trying to win, no matter what situation we're in. Like I said before, we went through 2 playing games trying to get in the playoffs on the road, trying to just get to the dance. Um, so I would say it's been an up and down road, and we've figured out how hard it is to win.
Another one on the Jimmy thing. I know obviously you've talked about how it tested you as a captain. How do you feel like Spo handled it, and how much are you guys kind of leaning on each other during that experience as you guys are going through it?
Uh, I feel like Spo tried to do his best to make the team focus on the main thing. Obviously, it was a lot of noise going around us. There's a lot of things happening, moving fast. Like I said, not knowing who was going to be in the lineup, if they were going to show up if today or not. So he did a great job of trying to make it the main thing, which was, like I said, we got to get out here and compete. We can't lose focus because the outside noise is doing what it's supposed to do, being outside noise. And I mean, we just have a regular conversation. You come in there every day, and you try your best to keep it positive, because it can turn negative real quick if you let it. So, just understanding that not only is the team watching me, they're also watching him. So, I think he did a great job of, like I said, keeping it the main thing.
Bam, you've obviously become a very effective three-point shooter. If you continue to play alongside Ware, if Ware stays in the lineup as your partner, do you think, from a spacing standpoint, you need to take a handful a game of threes moving forward?
Uh, I wouldn't say a gang full of threes. I would just say keep them honest. Understanding that they are makeable shots for me. Understanding that I can space the floor. Uh, but keeping teams honest is the biggest thing. And then I don't think you should just go and just start jacking. I should just start jacking 15 threes a game. I don't think that's ideal in my mind.
Bam, you kind of alluded to this, but through all the ups and downs that you had this season, a lot of the players had some great things to say about how you were as a captain. How do you feel like you handled it, and how were you impressed with how the team came together?
Man, I would say I handle it as professional as possible, and my teammates know that. But also, I tried to handle it where I bank so much equity with every last one of them that I can have personal conversations with them and let them know, some of this we're going through is just because we got to go through it. But them also understanding that we are expected to play and we are expected to win. If we don't win, figure out how we can win. And I feel like they handled that, best way they could. Going out there, diving on the floor every night. Like I said before, this season could have been over a long time ago. But to see guys go through what we went through and not let go of the rope, as a captain, that's, you have the utmost respect for your teammates. Because like I said, anybody could have been like, man, I'm checking out. And they didn't. So, from my standpoint, I appreciate them for holding on.
Bam, you mentioned the other day that you'd expect the team to make some changes and such over the summer, given how the guy with the silver hair operates, as you said. For you as the on-court leader and the team captain and the emotional leader, what gaps would you want to see adjusted or tweaked in order for you guys to restore contention status?
At the end of the day, I want to win. So I can't really go into logistics of the tweaks and everything. I feel like that's more of a Pat Riley question. And I hope you can ask that question to him and he doesn't blow you off and ignore you. But, for me, he knows my mentality. He knows I want to win. We want to be in the best way possible to do that. So, after he talks to you, he'll probably talk to me, and we'll figure out what happens.
Bam, just kind of you've seen the progression over one season for a guy like Kalel in his rookie season and playing alongside him, and even going through some rough stretches, like maybe getting taken out early at the last game. Can you just kind of talk about what you saw from him specifically this season?
Man, I seen a kid that, Spo didn't play in the beginning and we was begging him to play because we felt like he was a talent to, at some point he got his chance and he impacted winning. So I'm proud of him. Obviously, he's going to keep developing. He's going to keep growing. He's going to keep wanting to be his best version of himself. And we expect him to do that. So, seeing what I've seen outside, not only out on that court, but also in the locker room, how he's a great teammate. He's willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the team. I think, like I said before, I think he can be a great player in this league. He can be one of the ones where we'll constantly be talking about every year of, he could be in the contention of DPOY, judging because, y'all have seen it. He'll, at some point, think a guy got a layup, and then it's 4 feet in the stands, 4 rows in the stands. So understanding that he does have a talent and he can showcase it.